questions.
Got you lots of new Georgia duds now.
Oh, yeah.
Did they
Yes,
outfit
sir.
you right away?
I'll tell you what, I don't know what to do with it all.
Are you settled yet? What are you and the family doing right now?
Well, I'm settled into the Georgia Center over there,
Okay.
a block away, and so it's been good. You know, coming in as a new defensive staff, we're spending a ton of time up here, obviously, and so it's been really good. My family's still back in LA, and we just bought a house the other day, and it's kind of neat. The biggest thing we're looking for in buying a home. My wife and I have 4 kids, and ranging from our oldest is a boy, 13, and then 3 little girls, 12, 10, and 6.
Right.
So we want a place where we can really settle in, and there are kids everywhere. Where we live right now in California is one of the most beautiful places probably in the world, but there's not a kid around within probably 3 or 4 blocks. And so we can't wait to get moved and really get around and raise our family with a little bit more normal setting instead of 33 million people.
I mean, coaching can be such a transient profession as you've seen, but you have bought a house here and ready to.
Yeah, they're going to have to take me out of here at gunpoint. This is where I want to be, and the people that I'm working with. I've worked 12 years in this profession, and I left the University of Nebraska because I really felt like I needed it. You know, I was kind of a sprint. I wanted to be a head coach. I wanted to go be a defensive coordinator, make that next move, and so on and so forth. And you know what? I've gotten to the point right now where I say it very humbly, but I want to be the best linebacker coach in football, and that's where my focus is. And I want to be at a university like the University of Georgia and work for great people. And Coach Rick, if there's a finer human being coaching this game, I haven't met him. And you know, working with Jeremy Pruitt, that guy, he reminds me of someone I played for and coached with starting out. He reminds me a lot of Bob Stoops. I mean, he's got some amazing qualities. A tremendous leader, very focused, knows exactly what he's looking for, and he has no ego. And the reason he doesn't have an ego is because he's a great teacher, and he's very confident in what he believes in, and he knows what it takes to get there. So, you know, we're all buying houses there. This is where we want to be.
Did you did you end up in Coney County or Athens, Clarke?
Yes, sir.
Coney County?
Yeah, I think we're in there with a couple blocks away from Coach Pruitt and Coach Friend and Coach Bobo.
Okay.
So.
I think Coach Rick had said that some of the coaches had to look at bios maybe from the media guide during match drills in terms of to know their players. Are you getting a handle on those guys?
That would be me. I was one of those guys. But yeah, it takes a little bit of time. You know, we're trying to get our hands wrapped around the recruiting part, so know every young man in the state of Georgia. That's where we're going to kill it in the state of Georgia. And we're also trying to obviously, you know, learn get to know our players, and that it takes a little bit of time. So I know my position guys right now, and I'm branching out from there.
It's a little bit confusing the way the responsibilities are in. Can you explain what you understand is to be your role in special teams and linebackers?
Well, I think in general, what Coach wanted to do is he wanted to have an offensive emphasis on special teams and defensive emphasis. And one of my responsibilities is to head up the defensive part of that. But it's a collective unit or collective responsibility. We're all going to be involved. I mean, I'm going to be coaching on every single unit, and Coach Scher is going to be coaching on every single unit. You know, and a lot of us are. So we may be heading it up and pointing it in the right direction, but we're all going to have our hands on it, and we'll play well.
To be clear, is punt return a defensive special team or an offensive special team?
We'll be in charge on our side. On the defensive side, we'll be in charge of kickoff cover and punt return and field goal PAT block.
What is your background in terms of during your career in special teams? What have you coached through your years?
I've been a part of coaching every aspect of it, and headed up a couple different units, and it's something that, as a player, I loved. I mean, and I think it's a little bit easier to coach it if you did it, and it's something I can relate to, and I understand what these players, how they feel about it, and how you really have to get them to buy into it, and you know, when you come here, I mean, one of the biggest things is for these guys to understand that a lot of them have aspirations to go on to the next level. Well, one of the first questions that any scout asks when they come in is, what special teams does this young man play on? And they track it back from his freshman year. That's where they start, because about 5% of the players that are drafted go in and start in the NFL, and those other guys, they better be making their money on special teams. So it's pretty easy. I mean, if you don't want to play on special teams, you're crazy. I mean, you really are, and not only because of that, but because you want to win, and you want what's best for your team, and you want to compete.
Mike, when the transition happened out in LA,
Mhm.
did you, I mean, even before that, have you had aspirations to coach in the SEC? Was this something that kind of always interested you to come here?
I really enjoy the South, and obviously everybody in coaching, you look at the SEC and it's the number one conference, period. I mean, I don't care if I was in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten, or the Big 12. I mean, you look at the SEC from the outside, and whether or not people will say it or not, I mean, it's just a fact within coaching. Everybody knows. I mean, this is a league. So, as a coach, you want to coach against the best, and you want to coach the best. So, I go back to when I first came, when I first started out at the University of Nebraska. Well, a young man I was recruiting, his father asked me, he goes, you must be under a lot of pressure, to try and restore the tradition and so on and so forth, and just hit me at that point. And I said, you know how much pressure we got? Zero. Because there's no way anybody could ever put more pressure on, more higher expectations than we have on ourselves. And that's how you feel as a coach. I mean, all the other stuff, I mean, it doesn't matter. Because, as a coach, you expect to win them all. As a coach, you're competing, and that's all you're focused on.